first this evening, let's queer up breaking news. Kamala Harris selects her running mate. It's Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate for the upcoming presidential election. Walz, a former educator and congressman, has quickly risen in prominence, known for his strong defense of democratic values and his leadership in Minnesota. With a history of bipartisan cooperation and progressive achievements, Walz brings a steady and thoughtful presence to the ticket. As a candidate, Walz has championed social welfare programs, gun safety laws, and LGBTQ+ rights. His experience as a governor and his connection to rural voters make him a compelling choice to balance the ticket and appeal to a broad electorate. Walz's personal story about IVF resonates with many voters. He recently shared that he and his wife Gwen faced infertility challenges. Walz's selection also shows that both the Trump and Harris campaigns aimed at garnering support in the Midwest. Democrats are optimistic that Walz's Minnesota background will resonate with a broad range of voters in the region. Meanwhile, Republicans believe Ohio Senator J.D. Vance's upbringing, highlighted in his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, could appeal to voters in blue states such as Michigan and Minnesota. Some Republicans are said to be surprised by this decision as they expected Harris to pick a more prominent figure. However, Democrats believe in Walz's solid track record and his appeal across different voter demographics. Gentlemen at the table, how are we feeling with this breaking news? I received it while I was on an airplane today, right before we landed in Fort Lauderdale. And although I had that slight disappointment that it wasn't Gay Pete, I was happy to hear about Tim because I knew about his background and what he's done for the state of Minnesota. How do we feel?
I think it's a very exciting moment for America. She made the right pick, the perfect pick.
It's a good team. We want to support them.
I think it's awesome that they did some statistics earlier today on MSNBC and NPR, and they were talking about that it's the third happiest place to live in the U.S.
Minnesota? Wow.
He was a football coach. He's been a teacher. He's been in government. I think he's a great balance. I think that she did the right thing. As much as I would like Pete, I don't know that Pete having two, and I don't know phrase this properly, two minority groups in the top two positions would have appealed across the country as much as she picked a safe, but somebody who's well-spoken. And last week when he started talking about how the J.D. Vance and Trump campaign were weird and it's gone viral, that whole thing, how he turned it around. And he said something today about if I'm the bad person, because I think that's how he was looked at by the Trumps. Pictured as.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm happy to have fed, made sure that children don't go hungry in schools because they have the best, or he's initiated the food program. If I can allow women to have the right to choose, I'm a bad person. If I do all these things, and he says, so I'm happy to have the title as bad. So I think she made a great choice, and he's not a shrinking flower.
You know, at this table, I agree with you. There are major hate groups that are spewing it right in the direction of both of them right now. There is this, I don't follow it, but on Instagram, there is, and I don't even know if I want to give it the platform, but there is this horrible group against groomers, they say, gays against groomers or something. I talk with my hand when I get nervous because I didn't want to even give this platform that name, but everything that they're saying is just focusing on the fact that he has, turned the page for gender affirming care in Minnesota. And that is the only thing the Red are focusing on. They just want to target that. They think that's horrible. They think that's against, organized religion. I do not think any of that, but it's just wild that within the 6 hours that this announcement has been made, it's already going in that direction. Scares me a little bit, but I think that we're going to come out.
But they're the two, if there's any other candidates, they're the two people that can take that and turn it to their favor.
Right.
Just like she did with her laugh, and they tried to make that a thing.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, it was out everywhere and they owned it, that she's a happy person.
Well, the Republican Party doesn't have anything that can stick right now.
So
anything they're going to just throw at them.
Grasping at straws.
Right.
Yeah, they are. But the reality is, like, the polls are shifting. They're shifting towards Kamala. They're in favor of Kamala Harris. And I think by the end of the convention in August, we will see a complete different result, and America unified and united to elect the first black woman president.
Yeah. I think
Well said.
before we move on,
Yeah.
the enthusiasm, I really haven't felt that since Obama ran.
I agree.
It's good
I
chemistry.
agree with you.
And it's
Yeah.
real chemistry. It's not forced. It's just they're naturally, and they're having fun already. They just started.
But that just, yeah, I mean, but the
That
overall
excitement is real.
excitement is
It-
real
that's
throughout
real.
the country. And
That's
the amount of money that they raise in that short a period of time is remarkable. So anyway,